And then it was 2023, the first round. He drops a Heat franchise record, 56 points against the Bucks, including these 2 dagger threes. Last one, same series. Jimmy sends the game to overtime on this alley-oop. Oh my goodness. And the 8-seeded Heat went on to beat the top-seeded Bucks in 5 games. So playoff Jimmy always steps up his game, right? He's averaged 21.7 points in the last 3 regular seasons, and then he ups that to 27.1, 21.7 to 27.1. So for more on this all-important play-in game, Sis, take it away.
Everyone loves a good reunion. Joel Embiid taking on his former teammate Jimmy Butler in the Heat. But keep an eye on the big man, though, who is coming off of a very big year. Joel Embiid became the 2nd player in NBA history to score more points than minutes played, joining Wilt Chamberlain. Y'all, he scores a point every 60 seconds, and this is how he does it. Watch this. Okay, he just has the physicality. Now, this was earlier in the year. I know he's still getting his legs back, but that's Wemby, who a lot of people say is Defensive Player of the Year, running up mate type of guy. But over here, watch. This is the most unguardable play in basketball. 4 guys in front of him. The whole defense is watching him, keeping his eyes on him. He's just able at 7 feet to shoot over everyone. That is why he's been so good, because he has the physicality, but also he has the skill. But this specific matchup won't be a walk in the park for Joel Embiid. Bam Adebayo actually leads an Eric Spoelstra defense that knows how to neutralize stars. And this is how. Now, there's a very special stat I want to show you. So watch this. Joel Embiid versus Bam. The last 3 seasons, Joel Embiid has shot 38.8% field goal percentage against Bam Adebayo. That is the lowest amongst all opponents. It's because Bam has the footwork, but also he's committed in that Heat culture to get every contest. But when the game slows down, which we know in the playoffs will happen, I want to flash back to this moment, because you have 1 possession. They're trying to lock up the game. 4th quarter, 30 seconds left. Yep. Joel Embiid has plenty of room to work. He attacks. Bam is there, able to guard on the perimeter, but then they have the help side defense and a clutch contest. So this is a strength-on-strength matchup. These 2 teams have had their fair share of adversity, and we will see if it's Joel Embiid's elite offense or the Heat's elite defense that will really win out. Right, because we've only seen Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid go head-to-head 1 time this year where both of those guys played. This is going to be exciting. So it's time now for Setting the Pick, brought to you by ESPN Bet, the official sports book of ESPN. It all goes down tonight right here on our air. Michael Wilbon, NBA Countdown, gets it started. But we're going to make you pick now. We're not even going to wait for that. Who you got?
Sixers at home, and I think Maxi's the difference. Just looking at what Chiney just outlined. I mean, Jimmy and Joel are going to do their thing. And by the way, I don't know that Joel, we haven't seen the power come back. True. I mean, I hope that he gets that back if they can advance and get to the playoffs. But Maxey, to me, Malika, is going to be the difference in this series. He's a guy who is all league level or close to it right now. And this postseason could be his coming out party starting tonight.
Look, Malika, it's hard to bet against the Heat culture, but it feels like the efforts, the intensity, the magic that got them to the NBA Finals, it's going to be hard to duplicate and replicate. Right. That's why I'm going on the home court factor, the energy of being in Philadelphia, Joel Embiid having enough games to feel good about his game, and then also Maxey being one of the most improved in the NBA.
I'm with you. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. It feels like something a little bit intangible. Do the Heat have enough offense? I don't know. I'm going with the 76ers tonight. Joel Embiid, though, to your point about his explosiveness, he hasn't had a single dunk attempt.
And you wonder, is he saving it or does he not have it?
Right.
And either way, he's been so brilliant in what we've seen since he's come back. Is that going to be effective enough against Miami, a team that you know is going to test all of that? What, Eric Spoelstra and crew haven't thought about testing Embiid in those ways? Of course they have.
Right. I talked to a couple of guys who played against Joel recently after he came back from injury, and they said that they think he's looked the best that he has at this time of year in a long time. But you're right. We didn't see him play in that final game of the regular season against Brooklyn because they were taking the chance that they could beat the Nets without him. That won out. That proved to be right. But we want to see him back on the court. We want to see him sort of at full strength. I'm wondering if we can drill down just a little bit on Miami, though. What do you think changed, Chiney, from last season to this season?
I think there's a difference in how they defend. And I think a lot of the onus has been on Bam Adebayo, and he's been tremendous. I think Bam is emerging into someone that we can compare to Draymond Green defensively in his prime. He can guard everyone, but at the same time, they're asking him to also be that leader, that consistent piece on offense. It's not easy to do that in the NBA, to be so committed to defense and then also be someone that can really take that next step offensively. I think there are a lot of games where we see him have, maybe 10 attempts or 15 attempts, but they need him to be a star, especially given that a lot of the moving parts around him have not been consistent.
And Chiney, I wonder the same thing. So does Bam have another level offensively? Is there a
playoff Bam?
Yeah. Playoff Bam, which might be unfair because he is so committed to that. And by the way, I mean, Jimmy has done this. Look, Jimmy came into this league to take on LeBron James. He was drafted just to do that, and then transitioned into something fuller. So does Bam have that level? Are we going to see it immediately? Do we need to see it now?
Right.
Offensively.
Since you're Mr. Chicago, Chiney, all of a sudden I feel very far away from you on our set. I feel like I need to join you and just give Michael Wilbon his space, because it used to be that being a Knicks fan, it was kind of a punchline. That's no longer the case.
Yeah.
My worry is that the Chicago Bulls, your Chicago Bulls, seem to be filling up that vacant space.
Well, that was a nice way to say that.
That was very diplomatic, Malika. I like that. Wait a minute. She covered the team. Malika's been there. She's there a lot. We went to a lot of Bulls games together. Okay. A draft pick changes everything now. That's what your front office has to do. And I don't mean a top 3 pick. Yeah, you can get Wembanyama, fine.
Well, Bob Myers knows
Where
that.
Where did Halliburton go? After Patrick Williams. Where did Giannis go? What was Giannis, 13th or something like that?
13, yeah.
So you have, Joker. There are teams who have won championships and are deep in the championship contention. This is about scouting worldwide and being fortunate and good. So that's the answer to what is the front office going to do? Hope to hold on to your pick, hope to acquire another one. They didn't do that. They didn't trade Caruso. They didn't trade Drummond. Okay, so they stuck with this group. They are everything Dion said just now, right on the money. Nailed it. They will beat Atlanta tonight at home. I'm going to naively say that they can beat Miami. They had a double-digit lead on Miami last year in the play-in game and should have won that game. They are a better team without Zach LaVine, who they started 5-14 with. Since then, what are they, +5 or 6 over 500? Since that, are they going to put a scare into the Celtics? No, they're not. But they can get to the first round of the playoffs, which, look, there are plenty of years where the Knicks were not in play-in anything, so I don't want to be compared to them.
There wasn't
and
a
I can fight this. I can fight this out with Stephen A. We'll duke it out later. But the Bulls are not in a great place, and this game annoys me tonight because it does.
Annoys.
Sinead,
that's like when parents used to say,
me.
"I'm not upset with you. I'm just disappointed." And it somehow felt so
compliment sandwich.
But listen, against the Knicks on Sunday, they played hard. They took the Knicks
overtime.
They're missing 3 starters. The Knicks are missing Julius Randle. The Bulls, as you just heard Dion talk about, they're missing 3 starters, including their max player, Zach LaVine, they've been missing half the year at least. So I'm trying not to be annoyed.
Wilbon, the one thing I think about, we know the reality when it comes to the East and the Bulls. Like, I don't think there's like a great run expected, right? But my question to you is, what do you want them to do? Because they've seen tremendous growth in Kobe White.
Yes.
And now you have deals that are being made. You have DeMar DeRozan, the question there. I know you play GM, coach, player. You literally wish you could go on the court and
Yes.
What would you do? How would you build? That's the thing that comes to my mind when I think about that.
It's going to have to be. Woj just talked about this. You're not going upper echelon free agent. That's not. First of all, the Bulls have never gotten that either.
But think about it. We made the comp to the Knicks, and they didn't do that either.
That's
right?
true. They didn't do that once, maybe. But that's what Kobe White is. A block. There's Vooch. They're committed to. But the problem is he's going to be 34 years old. Zach LaVine's contract. That should have been in Detroit. That deal was closer than people talk about. So, Sinead, they're in a tough place. They have got to get lucky in the draft. And again, you don't need a top 3 pick to get lucky.
Right. Especially
Tyrese Halliburton.
Just need to be right.
Where was Maxey picked?
And that's why you don't need to, in this draft,
you have to have your pick.
Right.
And you don't know when that person is going to emerge. And by the way, it happens almost every year now in the NBA. We see a player who is very quickly on a most improved list, We see a player who's a third team. We see a person who's, oh, wait, on an all-rookie team that we didn't expect. It's worldwide basketball, and the Bulls have got to be better and a little luckier in the competition when it comes to finding talent.
Right, because when Maxey is the 21st pick.
21st.
Then maybe
Come
that's
on
something
now,
that
this is possible.
But here's what the Bulls are holding on to. January of 2022, when they were the #1 seed
I'm holding on to it.
in the Eastern Conference, and they felt like that's what this group could be as healthy. The problem is, I think of 2022 as yesterday. It was 2.5 years ago, and that's what's getting a little bit wild.